Hi, y'all. I just wanted to come on here and talk about my stay here at this place that I'm at. And up to now, it's been pretty good, and it was really necessary for me to take the time that I did and have the place that I had, the platform, the roof over my head and everything to rest and recover. I didn't realize how tired I was until I got here. And up till recently, it's been, I'm not saying I was a bundle of joy being here. It's not a very good place, but it was cheap. And the way I got here, it seemed like almost divine intervention because it was in the middle of a snowstorm. I was walking around town with my big backpack. I had to get out of the place I was camping in. I left my tent up, but I left where my tent was at. I came into town because the weather was getting really bad. And I was starting to get just really tired. Spent all last spring, summer, everything, hiking and going to the gyms, and I was starting to get tired. So I met the guy that turned out to be the landlord of this place just by walking around. He was shoveling some snow in front of one of his buildings, and I told him about me just walking around and wishing I had a place to get out of the snow and the bad weather because the library was closed because it was during a snowstorm. It was just so bad they actually, closed it down for the day. So he sat and talked to me once we broke the ice and he got to trust my character a bit. He said, you know what, he turned out he's a landlord and him and his family own several houses. And he just said, you know what, I'll put you up in a place. I got a place open for you. And he didn't ask any money. In fact, he actually took me to Walmart and bought me enough food to get by for a week. So it's been a pretty good, run. And, it was a good experience, especially how I ended up getting here. It seemed like divine intervention. And as far as people here, hadn't had any problems up till recently. The person who ended up who was becoming the problem was somebody who I met in the hallway, and we've had some, pretty decent conversations, like on 3 occasions. I certainly didn't go knock on his door and impose myself. We just ended up meeting in the hallway, and he seemed like a genuine person. He didn't seem like an NPC or an organic portal. He seemed like a real person. And we got into talking, and he was interested in what I had to share anyways. He had a Mormon background, a Bible background, and my expertise is not Mormon, but, I'm pretty good at that type of conversation. So it was fun, and I thought it was genuine. And I only talked to him like 3 times out of the last 10 weeks I've been here, though. He's kind of a hermit. He stays to himself, and I go out of the house usually most days to walk around and stuff, but I don't interact with anybody in here. So Tuesday is garbage day. Every Tuesday is garbage day here where this location is at. So Tuesday night you put your garbage out in the front. Usually 1 bag or whatever. I accumulate about 1 bag, a week. Last Tuesday, after putting my bag of garbage out in the front, in fact, I was kind of sitting around my apartment here, and I heard a little scratching sound on my door. It sounded like somebody was writing in a pen, and it turned out they were. I said, was that somebody? And I just kind of went like that. And then I kind of opened my door just to check, and there was this sticker. Now, mind you, this is after I put my garbage out to the front, by the way. I got this note on here, and in my opinion, this is a rather nasty note. It says, bro, in a heart. Now, that tips me off. I can't be sure it was the guy that I'm thinking of, but there was only 2 people in the apartment building at the time that he left these 2 notes. It was either him or the old guy upstairs. There's 2 other people here, but they weren't here. Okay, it says right here, bro, and a heart. Now, I know it has to be him also because the guy upstairs never talked to me, and he's old. I don't think he would use the word bro and have a heart. It has to be him, the guy that I'm thinking of, that I've had conversations with because we broke the ice, and we did get along, seemingly. So here's what the note says. Bro, Tuesday is garbage day. Please put it in front, not in back. We don't live. We don't live like this. And then he left another note. My brother, please put your garbage out front, not out back. It's gross and disgusting. Clean it up. And then another little, smiley face or something. So I know it has to be that guy, since, like I say, there was only 2 people in the building at the time outside of myself, the old guy and him. I already put my garbage out in the front. Obviously, he didn't see me do it. But to me, this is crazy. It's narcissistic, and I think he's just trying to start something. And I will show you why. I'm going to show you the garbage that is the source of his complaint. That's the door right there of the guy. So we go out here, and it's true, there is garbage out here. But I just got here like 10 weeks ago. I don't have a cat. Okay, here we are. Cases of cat food laying all over the place. We've got Coors Light, which I would never drink. We've got tater tots from the gas station down the street, which I would never eat tater tots with seed oils when I'm, unless I really had to or something like that. We've got cigarettes, ham, we've got more cat food. We have a toilet seat. Is that mine? Every single bag has got the same garbage in it. It's not like, well, maybe he thought that you put a couple of the bags out there and somebody else, and he left a note on the other person's door too. No, that's not it. Every single one of these, look at it. Apartment 4, Christine Powell. I don't know who that is. There's a William Powell. It's not my garbage, and it's so easy to prove. So for him to be familiar with the pile of garbage and kind of like look at it for what it is, and him to come to the conclusion that it must be him. Yeah, it must be the guy they had 3 great conversations with. It must be him. No question about it. That I'm going to put him in his place. I'm going to stick these, nasty little notes on his door with smiley face and hearts. Call him bro. And then scurry away like a freaking rodent and go hide behind my door. And not give him a chance to prove his innocence. This is the earmark of a narcissist. This is a guy who's dealing with more shit than just a pile of garbage. Okay? This is the typical human being in our freaking world today. This is what they are. This is what they do. You get yourself an apartment. You get yourself off the streets. You do what everybody says to do. And this is how it all begins. And what this is a setup on his part to try to get me to come pound on his door and act like a crazy man. It ain't my garbage. And then he goes and calls the cops. Or maybe, the tension builds. He's sitting there, it's eating away at him in his narcissistic mind, creating some twisted idea that doesn't exist in his head about me. And then he sees me in the hallway and I say, hey, can I defend myself here? Or can I, prove my innocence? He'd probably turn away and scurry away and get all huffy and puffy, or maybe even he'd come at me with fisticuffs, and then I'm put into a position where I've got to block punches and perhaps even go offensive, and maybe, in order to stop the nonsense and to stop the danger and the threat. And then what he'll do, go run off into his, apartment and call the police, and because he's the one that has a small laceration on his eye or something like that, and he'll go and he'll be the one that the police listen to, and they'll take my innocent ass off to, jail and stuff, and I'll be entangled in a freaking court case for months and be stuck on probation and be forced to go into anger management and stuff. And, just because all judicial systems in this country are completely corrupt. If anybody is legitimately prosecuted and it's the real right thing to do and it's the right measure of justice, it's a complete accident. a broken clock is right twice a day. But if that guy decides to start something with me, call the police, more than likely I'm going to be the one who gets hauled off. So anyways, that's the deal. I have proved my innocence. It's not like I'm defending myself. I have proven 100% my innocence. Every one of these bags are from the same source, and there is no possible way, impossible, that the source of this garbage could be me. Not one bag, not one piece of garbage, not one bag. I mean, every single bag has got cat food in it. No problem, okay? No problem. It's even got prescription pill medications. I don't go to doctors and shit like that. And I don't eat this kind of food, and I don't drink that kind. I'm not going to buy cases, Budweiser, Coors Light, cases. We're talking, what is it, a 15-pack Natty Ice, and you got Keystone Ice. Never would I drink. I do drink Natty Ice occasionally, but I always drink it in the 24 cans because it's just cheaper and better to get it that way. I have drank 2 or 3 times since I've been here, but it was like, 3 cans of Natty Ice, like king cans, not this, like this size. This is Smirnoff. I don't get Smirnoff, I don't eat ham and cheap, like banquet TV dinners. And anybody who's followed Noah Road for any length of time knows that, getting rid of your garbage and keeping a clean camp and stuff, that is super important to me. This is narcissistic, and this is, red flags for psycho neighbor problem. Would he rather have me go and have a freaking scary thug move in where he has to put up with women and going in and out of his apartment all day and all night, men, buddies, parties, rap music or bassy kind of music or something going on, and he can't sleep? Would he rather have that with some muscly, hard, hardened warrior type guy who's been in and out of jail? Would he rather have a clown, crazy guy like that in here? I mean, I don't make a peep. I've gotten along with him. I don't bother him. I don't bother anybody here. And 100% provable fact, this is not my garbage. It can't be my garbage. And would he rather drive me out of here because he's got some narcissistic conflict about me in his mind that he created out of nothing, when in fact I've been very nice, and take a chance on getting somebody a whole lot worse? Because most people are pretty lousy. Their character is usually bad. You get a neighbor, and good neighbor, man, you better keep him. It's like winning the freaking lottery if you got a good neighbor. So anyways, that's the dilemma I'm dealing with right now. I mean, he goes, leaves these, nasty little notes and scurries away behind his door like a little rodent. 4 days later, I think it was yesterday, because this was last Tuesday with his notes, I let the dust settle on it. I didn't just, go and get mad and pound on his door or nothing like that. I didn't, I let the dust settle. And I tapped on his door like that. And I heard him behind the door in his kitchen. And his kitchen is like right there at the door. And all of a sudden he just gets real quiet. Because I'm sure he heard my door open up and my door close, because it's so close together. Then I kind of waited for a minute. Felt like that. I know he heard it. It just stayed quiet. So I'm like, okay, this guy is just a narcissist. And there's no rationalizing with him. And he's decided that he's going to behave this way, and no matter what. He's not going to give me a chance to prove my innocence at all. And frankly, he doesn't care if I am innocent. He's decided that he hates me for some reason. And he'll probably hate me more even if I do prove my innocence, because he knows that his plot or his plan to get me to act, maybe violent or something. Maybe he thought I'd get all mad and then he can get rid of me. Maybe he enjoys sending people to jail. I don't know. So anyways, he's a psycho neighbor, clearly. I mean, physically he's nothing to handle, but, the psychological problem is the issue. He's, compared to me, he's, it wouldn't be much of a fight. unless he had a weapon that he kept hidden and I didn't know it was there, then he could use a weapon, and anybody can do that. But what he could do is become confrontational if I met him in the hallway or something like that, and then go and call the police after the confrontation, because that I'd be forced into. I certainly wouldn't be looking for it. I would try to de-escalate at all cost. At cost of my ego, I wouldn't care. I just would want to de-escalate, and I'd rather get along with him. I mean, if he suddenly just stopped on a dime and repented and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't mean to defame your character like that. I really realize now what I did. And it was really bad for me to do that." If he gave me a chance to defend myself and to prove my innocence, hey, no problem, man. Mistakes happen. I'd still be a little bit like, okay, the guy was kind of an asshole. But I would be like, okay, he's trying. It was a genuine mistake. But after our conversations that we've had, how he could come to that conclusion legitimately and really think it, I don't think it's possible. And I don't think it's possible for him to go out the door and be familiar enough with that garbage and come to the conclusion that it's my garbage. I mean, he knows that I go to the gym, I run, I don't smoke, I don't, I mean, I never told him I don't drink, and I do drink a little bit, but not a lot. Not like cases and cases of freaking Keystone Ice. I mean, I'm not going to get all that stuff. I certainly don't have cat food. I don't have, prescription pill medications from doctors where I got a bunch of empty bottles in my, in my garbage. I only accumulate like one bag of garbage a week. The day that he actually put those notes on the door was last Tuesday, and I already put my garbage out there. So yeah, I was pretty offended, and I could have gotten heated and stupid and went right out the door and beat on his door and got in his face about it. But that's just not how I act, because I know that immediately I was thinking, okay, this is narcissistic. This is a red flag for a psycho neighbor. So it starts out like this, and it'll turn into something else. So, as far as I'm concerned, the place was it was necessary. I went through a lot of changes here. I had a lot of challenge to my religious bias and my spirituality. I've went through some dark night of the soul, if you will, and I think I'm in a position to have the potential to reach higher plateaus of enlightenment, on a psychological level, on a, spiritual level. And physically, I didn't realize how tired it was. So the time that I've spent here has been really a good and necessary recovery for me, to get back more regular into the gym or get into some kind of a homeless routine again. But I really don't feel happy anymore about being here, because I don't like tension. I'm just that way. And I don't like this town. I like, the landlord, he's so sweet and so nice. And the place it's tolerable, quiet enough. The neighbor upstairs is a little bit annoying with the persistent noises that he makes. He scrapes boxes on the floor or totes. He drags them from one side of the room to the other all day long, from 5 in the morning till around 2 in the morning. It's just insane. That's all he does. And he never leaves. He doesn't work or anything. He's very old. That's why I know it wasn't him that, left the note, because it had a heart, it had brother, the word brother, It was very nasty. If you really see through the thinly disguised smiley face, the heart, and the word brother, it was very, very nasty. And it didn't give me an opportunity to defend myself and prove my innocence, which I could clearly do in 5 seconds. Clearly this person has got more going on in his head than just an issue over the garbage, really. And this is what it always turns into. Human beings are the craziest creatures that ever walked the face of the freaking earth. The only people I know that are real or right or whatever are, very few. And none of them I really, I'm not really in the same solar system as anybody else, even old people that I do like, I never really, have anyone to connect. I'm pretty much alone here in the universe. And what's important to me, maybe it's not important to anybody. But I'm a good person. I don't deserve this. This is crazy. Anyways, I just wanted to prove I wanted to, I guess, bring it to the attention, to have it on record, in my video diary, my YouTube channel. Maybe some people would take some interest in this. And I want to prove my innocence on video record and to say this guy's crazy. And I'm not just, making anything up here, I mean, that guy leaves that nasty note on my door, scurries behind his door, doesn't give me an opportunity to defend and prove my innocence, That's narcissistic behavior. It's a red flag for potential problem down the line, okay? So, that said, Noah Road, over now. For now.